Welcome back to another episode of the Klompenkegels React. Just kidding, it's just a commentary, so you don't actually get to watch us, but since you can't see us, I am Rylan Schubkegel. I play Alric Fulbright in the writer's room, and I'm also one of the co-directors of the film.
I am Sophie Klomparens. I was the other co-director of the film. I wrote the dang thing, and I played Cassandra Summers, and I did a bunch of the editing for the film.
I am Trinity Klomparens, and I did most of the cinematography, and I also played Kate Moreland and the offensive coordinator.
That's the most important role.
That's the most important role. I was super excited to play that.
Mm-hmm.
She was also the artist.
There's the tracker down.
Oh, yes.
For these beautiful frames that you see before you.
Indeed.
All these wonderful stills.
Part.
I think I do the flag there.
Yeah.
And the trees.
Okay,
but all the good stuff is Trin's.
Yeah.
Here we had to cross out that his eye color was brown and write in that it was blue because we accidentally thought it was brown.
Notice this possible villain, but keep him away from wheelchairs.
Oh, yes.
Because he has a sad history with wheelchairs on
Very
the set.
sad. Very sad.
Okay, good.
There's my iPad before I had a case.
Is it cracked?
And before I damaged it at all.
This is a rare image of Trin's iPod before it was destroyed.
You might want to pause, go back, and look at it again.
Mm-hmm.
You won't see it very often.
Yep.
It's true.
Yeah. But someone remind me.
So,
sadly accurate.
The characters here in the writer's room itself I specifically wrote them to be very accurate to the people portraying them. Which is why we refer to one another by our actual names here in the writer's room, because we're really just playing ourselves, and the lines were written to be ourselves as well.
Yeah.
Because ultimately, at its heart, this movie is about 6 young people making a movie. And everything that's in the actual story itself just comes from what would people, like, these kinds of people come up with when just writing a story.
Yeah.
Oh, like a spy movie. I think you mean a film.
I'm pretty sure before we had the idea for the actual film, we just wanted to make a movie.
Yes.
And so it's very, very similar to what happened in real life.
And we had a discussion about what sort of genre it should be.
We did.
That's true.
We decided there needed to be a fight.
Yep.
That was the very first thing.
It
So there
needed
needed to be a fight.
Indeed.
Actually, it's really interesting that the first genre that they come up with is the spy genre, because our first movie, like Trin and Calvin and I and Caleb actually tried to make a movie a long time ago that was a spy movie. So it's funny that their first attempt here is a spy movie.
Oh wait. I like
There's
that
the car.
he never looked down and saw the paper. He would
Stare it off. Yeah.
Very true to Alric, staring at the girl instead of the important note.
That's true. I'm pretty sure that he thought that the note was a date invitation or something.
I know Alric, and he definitely thought that.
Here comes Robin.
This scene.
There weren't even originally going to be bullets or gunfire. I guess.
Yeah, well,
You
'cause
can't see the bullets because they
we
weren't
filmed-
originally there.
We had already filmed this movie through one time 2 years before we filmed the final version of the movie. And we ended up having to scrap everything we did initially because of audio problems, and so everything you see here is the second time we filmed it. So the original version of the scene actually had none of the running through the woods. It had no bullets or anything. It was filmed in the same location, but a little bit further down the creek. And then we decided to add all the bullets and stuff.
How do you know my name? The agency.
And this was a very difficult scene to film, partly because Calvin and I would take turns messing up on dodging bullets. And so this is definitely the top 5 of the hardest scenes to film. Probably number 3 for me personally, in difficulty of the film.
So you have a 4 and a 5 and a 2 and a 3. I mean a 2 and a 1.
That was an interesting order.
I don't know where that came from.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but are both Robin's glasses as well as Cassandra's, are those both my glasses?
No, I think that those were.
I think
I think
Calvin,
mine made a cameo.
Your
I'm not sure.
aviators
think-
made a cameo.
I think they made a cameo.
Unfortunately, they didn't make the credits, but
See,
They
I think
should've.
that I am wearing one of your guys' aviators, and the Calvin is wearing the other pair.
Something really interesting about this is that was actually our lunch. Was not only bought for the movie because we actually needed to eat.
I'm pretty sure we charged it to Sophie's account.
Yes.
And
I didn't actually know you were gonna buy that much food on my account.
we just wanted a lot of food in the shot because
Well, it's funnier.
it's funnier, but at the same time we were hungry, and I ended up eating most of those burgers.
I probably shouldn't have given you and
was-
Calvin my card and said go buy things at McDonald's.
It was also really interesting because we almost didn't even get to film here. Like, we originally had to go to Burger King, and then they turned us down. And then we went to McDonald's, and they also turned us down. But then they were like, actually, no, wait, you can go film in the play place. So we're like, okay.
Burger King would have been much classier.
Yeah, much classier.
Oh yeah, better classy.
Mhm.
better classy fast food.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. You let the Shasta twist get to you.
Oh man,
Dang, Shasta twist.
all that dang Shasta twist.
Budget is 0. I was super worried about the budget. That was totally accurate to how I actually was about the movie.
Everybody's accurate here.
Yeah.
Yeah, those superhero movies are overdone these days.
Okay, superhero movies really are overdone these days. Marvel has been going crazy.
Oh, but they're so good. This
Yes,
was so
that's-
much fun to film.
Oh my gosh, yes.
This was so much fun to film. Because we had to hold out certain frames for a very long time so that it would look like he had disappeared or come into the shot.
We actually filmed an alternative ending here in case the taking off didn't work, in
Yeah.
which he just kind of puts the comm down and then turns around and walks dramatically away.
And true to form, Stan Lee came in and he joined us for the filming of the superhero genre.
Exactly. We
Oh,
didn't
yeah,
get a
oh, yeah.
cameo because we just actually forgot.
We forgot, we actually cut his scene because there were other important things we needed to
Yes,
put in there.
exactly.
So
There's Calvin with eyeliner.
the only contribution he has is that he was holding the camera in some of
Oh,
these
yeah, of
shots.
course.
And that door opening
That was
was...
Stan Lee.
yeah, that was Stan Lee. On the floor just opening it up.
I just noticed that in that shot where they walk in, you can see a picture of Kyler and Rylan
Yep.
in the corner.
Yep. So
Hinting
Alric
at the
and
background
Rugen.
between, Alric and Rugen have backstory.
They're also right there next to
It's
Stone.
true.
Mm-hmm.
Because in actuality, this is Mr. Schubkegel's office.
Mm-hmm.
The artifact. What is?
And this is after we cleaned it to film.
Yes.
I love putting the tape on the table.
Yeah. Caleb just kind of did wacky things, and we tried not to laugh at them in the shots so that we could just film them and put them in the movie.
To be honest, we failed at that job, so we had to film several times.
Yeah.
But it was great.
Yep.
That was top 10 hardest to film and not laugh at.
That's a longer list than I thought it was
5.
gonna be. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was thanks to Stan Lee.
Oh yeah. The table there, I had to pull it on top of myself, which is why you don't hear a clatter when it hits the ground. Is because it didn't fall on the ground; it fell on me.
Bubbly beverage.
Is this a garage?
Zach Rugen, show yourself. Good day, man.
He had such a hard time doing that.
Yeah, that's true.
I love that he couldn't. He wasn't visible until the lights go out the first time.
Yes.
He was just hiding in a corner.
Yeah,
Yes.
hiding in a corner and he jumped up.
And then he left out. This is the introduction of Zach Rugen, the fake villain of the film,
Yeah.
who turns out, of course, spoilers, you've already seen the movie, who turns out, of course, not to be the actual villain.
I love how surprised they are every single time he appears in another place. Like, they never cease to be like, whoa!
Evil? Oh no. This vial is no more evil.
What's funny is when you watch this knowing what Zach actually is versus what he's pretending to be, it's so clear that he's trying so hard.
Mm-hmm.
And kind of failing at being just a really cool supervillain.
We were originally gonna mention that line earlier was from Batman vs. Superman, but it accidentally got cut.
Yeah. So now it just looks like we're plagiarizing.
But we weren't. It was an accident.
The sound effect there with the bubbling
Mm-hmm.
is real. That's just the sound of the bubbling beverages. I can't say beverages.
if it's the last thing I do.
Zach Rugen, The Cooking Show.
Every time I lay awake at night and I'm not able to sleep, I hear that laugh. And that's why I can't sleep.
That's shockingly creepy, Rylan.
Good point, Trin. There's gotta be some romance, otherwise the girls won't watch.
So matter of fact.
Just give him a girlfriend or something.
What?
Here, I'll do it.
Tram shot. And Colin.
Colin in the background being the paddleboarder. So when Trin and I were starting to lay out some of the cinematography, we had this thing called the 10-second rule, which the idea was that you had to be able to tell what the genre was within the first 10 seconds. So the minute the shot came on, you should know what genre we were imitating.
Yeah.
Which is where the idea for the tram shot came from.
Kate Moreland, will you marry me?
Should she say yes? I don't know, so quickly?
Everyone's so disgusted. I love it.
Except for you and me.
Robin, I just got engaged.
But come on, guys. We just lost every guy viewer we had in trying to get all the girls to watch.
It was so sweet.
No!
Just
Peacemaking.
wait a second. Wasn't Fulbright?
I'm not sure why I was the one to point this out because, I mean, to be honest, if I was watching a movie, I wouldn't have caught on to that.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's true.
I was written in a lot smarter than I actually am.
Something in the color correcting of this genre, this genre is a lot darker than the previous one.
Mm-hmm. I mean, same
Mainly
romance,
because
but
the other
redo.
one was supposed to be more bubbly, and then this one I guess was more realistic, kind of.
more angsty, like
More
angsty
angsty,
romance,
yeah.
rather than just like a rom-com.
And yet her dress is still so neon.
Yes, very, very
You
neon.
can
was
see the
impossible
reflections
to
on
keep it from
everything
being
else.
neon.
I thought that was good for the bubbly one, and then I kind of forgot that the next one wasn't supposed to be as bubbly, but I was like, it's fine.
Kind of made you emo or something.
Kate can't be
Yeah,
emo.
that would have been.
No.
Kate could be emo. I don't know.
So, Cassandra, we don't really know.
I like the music in the background for this scene. Caleb did all of the scoring for this film, and he did a really good job with bringing out the tone in various scenes. And I like how, I don't even know the word, quirky the music is for the background here. Because
And
Alec is failing so badly.
There's Colin over by the tram.
Wow. I really feel like I've gotten to know.
And the music, the background music definitely fits the awkward conversation going on.
Right, it's so awkward.
Will you go out with me?
Because Alric is so awkward. And beef jerky.
Awkward and
Yes.
beef jerky. That's Alric. And this was also written in from real life, proposing.
Oh my gosh. Rylan has proposed to me on multiple occasions.
Robin, have you ever felt that you would willingly die for someone you just met?
In a word, no.
Yeah, the joke is that all these characters are typecast. Like, that's what has been questioned, was whether or not Alric Fulbright and Robin Watson and all these characters were based off of the actors who play them. I'm not going to confirm or deny whether or not that's true. I feel that it may be judicious for me not to, but that is the rumor.
Everyone, quiet.
Again, Kyler peacemaking.
Yep. And me yelling about the budget.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, always.
Calvin holding up his notebook as a shield against Trinity.
A little too good. How are you gonna do that?
First shot of the entire movie right here. And I was super excited about Focus Shift.
Oh yeah.
We had a very different vision for how that scene was going to play out. We thought the hand hitting was going to have this huge impact behind it and have this whole golem effect and be all creepy and scary, but
I actually liked it better the way that it was more Lord of the Rings. I don't know. It was
Right.
more like dramatic and less creepy.
Yeah.
mm-hmm.
Not a horror movie. If we were to film a sequel, I think horror film would definitely be on the
Horror
list.
and Western.
Oh, yeah.
For sure.
3 artifacts for the elven kings under the sky. 7 for the dwarf lords in halls of stone.
All the Lord of the Rings references
In
here.
the Land of Corridor.
Yep.
Shadows lie. Oh, here we are.
We had to hike to the top of a mountain to film all of this stuff in the epic fantasy genre. It wasn't that high of a mountain, but we had to haul all of this equipment up there.
Yeah.
And some of us were wearing leather.
That's true.
And the costuming was so much better, though, even though you did have to wear leather. I mean, it was...
Yeah, it looks great.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that chainmail looks pretty cool. But it makes
And the
it
vest that
pretty
is
warm.
way too small for Robin.
This may be my favorite scene in the whole movie.
Yes.
Looking for the artifact, and then being so angry when they don't find it. But, like, it's so not thorough. Just, like, look under one rock and then...
Okay,
Yeah, out of
down
that
here.
entire area, he says, that rock might
Yes.
have the artifact under
You
it.
never know.
Notices the weed.
Oh.
He stops to admire the weed.
It's not even different from the rest of the weeds.
You may have heard stop and smell the roses, but...
Right. I think he's maybe collectively
Stop and
admiring
look
all
at
the
the
weeds by admiring the one weed.
Alright, this is definitely going on the top 3. I'd say this is the second most difficult scene in the entire movie to film
There was
without
so much
laughing.
laughter.
Also, because Kyler was talking,
Oh, that's true.
like, the whole
That
time.
doesn't help either.
No, it doesn't.
Well, because he and I were banished to, like, the other side of the hill because of
There was
talking.
too much talking. It was hard enough as it was.
I legitimately tried to lift that log, and fun fact, I couldn't lift it.
Notices the same weed.
There's something special about that one weed, guys.
Hast thou found the art?
The angst.
I'm pretty sure to make our heads closer on that close-up, I was standing on a rock.
so.
You were...
Because Calvin is taller than me. Always has been and always will be.
That shot right there, Kate is humming I Was Never Meant for This World from the musical genre.
It is not easy to walk through flowers, I will tell you that.
Greetings. The heavens once again shine on our meeting.
Maiden, do not distract me. My road is marked with
Those previous 2 lines there actually are the only 2 lines that Kyler wrote for the entire screenplay, despite the fact that he in the credits is billed as the assistant screenwriter.
I
those
still
are the 2
think
lines he
I
wrote.
should have been given...
You're really the unofficial assistant screenwriter because you
Yeah.
did actually help with a lot of scenes.
Yeah.
I hope that our faith in the council has not been misplaced.
If I remember correctly, all these lines here are were written on the set because we needed extra lines to get Alric down there while Zach was looking for the artifact.
Then, Alric Fulbright, the Dunedain, Rugen the Black, the Wizard. That is what some call me.
I think Kyler actually blocked this scene for... What is it called?
Not you fools. Did you find it?
For the in terms of cinematography, he decided what all... He made the shots list for this. We didn't follow it super closely, but he made it.
We made little tweaks to make it better.
There are secret records?
The magic staff actually is the same here. Like exactly the same as it was the last time we filmed. Like that did not change at all.
I love how Robin, he's just casually sitting back against that rock.
Cassandra Summers, Princess of the Woodland.
That was the last shot of that genre, because it wasn't super necessary and we were running out of battery for our camera. And
was a little bit scary.
We only filmed it when we knew we had everything that was necessary.
Why did you let him go?
He's searching for the artifact as well. I have a feeling he may
And that's another Lord of the Rings reference, referring to a line about Gollum. Which is pretty fitting when talking about Zach.
Notice that the table has become more messy. It gets progressively messier throughout the movie.
This is true. Between scenes, we would just grab paper and crumple it and write things on paper.
Can we also talk about what was being written this entire time?
Oh my gosh, yes! On that computer, the document, I still have the document somewhere actually. I should probably publish it at some point, like on the blog, because weird things were written.
I'm not sure you should post that on the blog.
Since it's playing right now, we got to bring up the fact that this shot was overdubbed.
Oh, yeah.
That entire walking scene when Alaric and Robin are talking, there was so much wind noise, we had to re-record the lines. And we went outside and we positioned the camera approximately the same distance from where we were. And we took several different tries.
Recorded footsteps too.
And spliced it all together and turned out pretty well.
Yeah.
Most likely you wouldn't have noticed if we hadn't told you that was overdubbed.
This fight scene was filmed with the tracker.
Yes.
which
Oh,
was
I love the tracker.
basically our favorite instrument. It was this big baby stroller, like a really big baby stroller that you could fit like a lot of babies in.
Oh.
And instead of fitting babies in there, we would put Trinity in there. And
Yeah.
somebody would push it around. Like here, it's tracking backwards because I'm pulling the stroller backwards with Trinity sitting there with the camera.
A lot of the time I would just sit in there like for the entire filming session and I would just command people
Just kind of yell at people to
to
push it
move
around.
me around and so that I could film the shots.
All that fight cinematography was done on the spot.
Yeah. We were actually very worried because we thought we were sure it was going to rain. And in fact, it actually did kind of start
A
to
little
rain.
bit.
And that would have been a major continuity problem. But it actually didn't. It started to rain for like a few,
Yeah.
like 30 seconds and then it was done.
And that entire fight scene actually, the reason the movie was even made was because Rylan and Calvin told me to write a screenplay with a fight scene in it. So I wrote a screenplay and the first draft had no fight scene in it. And so it was rejected and I had to write a new version that actually had a fight scene, which was that scene.
Wasn't this supposed to be a comedy?
Oh, a comedy. We should do something
I
like...
think a sitcom would also be a fun genre.
Oh, that'd
That'd
be
be really
good. Sequel ideas. When we're all like 25, just come back and be like, sequel time.
Yeah.
What should I do?
Murder mystery?
Alright, that's better than a musical.
Caleb actually does hate musicals. Like I said, the writer's room characters are very, very, very accurate.
This was filmed with a wheelchair, not the tracker, even though we love the tracker.
It's not
we just
quite as
couldn't-
good
we
as
couldn't
the
fit it.
tracker, yeah.
We couldn't fit it in the room, so we had to use a wheelchair.
Old letters, and I thought I had found it.
Robin, get in here.
I love this scene. Caleb did a really good job.
Very difficult to hear through that door. So y'all are lucky I came in when I was supposed to.
But she didn't look like trouble.
The voiceovers are so much better quality than the actual camera
Yeah.
microphone.
My cousin, he's been kidnapped.
All right, miss. What does your cousin do for a living?
I hardly see her that
I think that's the script that you're writing on right there.
I think it is too.
It is because I couldn't remember all my lines.
Oh, I forgot about that. There was a constant concern that somebody wouldn't know their lines on the set. Often that was Rylan. Not always, but often.
It was
Often.
Yeah.
It was Rugen.
There are several different shots though that we have the script in there some way or another.
Yeah.
I believe we use it on the big one as well.
Yes, the big shot. That's the secret records.
Yep.
Yep.
Something that we both want. Your cousin must have.
Also, those notes I'm taking were very important.
Very
Yeah.
important.
I'm sure you wrote lots of really important things on there.
Yeah, it was a whole lot of nothing.
You'd have never
gosh.
figured it out. If you
Remember when you said that line is, Rugen's not a killing man.
This was so hard.
This is definitely in the top 10. I'd say this is number 4,
Uh-huh.
if I'm counting correctly.
Are you kidding me? We cannot film the rest of this movie in black and white.
Why not?
Black and white is kind of cool.
But guys, why was there no murder?
Ask him a
Good
real question.
question. Good question.
People don't want to see a spy.
And there is no answer.
No.
Or a romance.
And here Colin delivers one of my favorite lines in the entire movie. Football.
Can we just appreciate the fact that he has had a football under the table this entire time, just waiting for the moment when he can pull it up?
Yes.
Pretty
This
true
was
to
where we
real
used
life.
so much tracker.
Oh yes, every shot here I think has a tracker.
Because that's how you film sports movies. That's what we learned from watching a ton of them.
I actually watched, I think, an entire video on how they film sports movies and we used a lot of the techniques from that video.
Screen, and he finds his receiver. Picks up.
Oh, that was a hard hit right there.
Another thing that we decided initially was that the announcers in the background are actually Sylvester Stone and Cassandra Summers doing the commentating. But in the end we had to cut the lines that actually pointed them out as Stone and Summers, so it's implied.
Also, this is Freddie Moreland, who is Kate's cousin. The person that she was talking about in Murder Mystery, who she thought was kidnapped.
So she thought he was kidnapped. He just actually went to go play football.
And she just didn't know.
And they say that in the very first couple lines. They say Freddie Moreland is playing in the Super Bowl.
He's lining up to take the snap himself.
Calvin also wrote all of this commentary because nobody else knows enough about football to be able to write it.
And here the coach is completely oblivious while the offensive coordinator is actually getting stuff done.
Especially since the coordinator, she's actually saying what the play is, and yet the coach doesn't hear it. He doesn't
Because the
wanna
coach
hear
doesn't
it.
listen.
I think the coach is just blocking it out purposely.
This was the Tracker's main debut.
Oh yeah.
And while the moves were not very realistic, I mean, it didn't look like I tried really hard to tackle Calvin. It was difficult to keep up because I had to run back faster than Calvin while he looked like he was still running. So
that's true.
It was some serious exercise that day.
Yeah.
Hard to film.
Bro. Well, it's not that noticeable. I mean,
We have 2 football players.
2.
Originally, the idea was that we were going to cut back and forth between the football players and then footage of the Seahawks playing.
Yeah. But that was going to be too hard.
Someone have an idea.
Let's do a musical.
I was as dismayed in real life as I was in the movie that I had to sing for a musical.
You did a good job.
That's what they all say, Sophie.
Where are you going? Robin, stop. There's no point in...
This song is one of 2 pieces of music that I wrote for this movie. All of it, everything, all the music was written by Caleb except for this song and then the song in the next scene, the swing dance scene.
Now, did you write the melody as well?
I did the instrumentation too, actually.
Oh.
No point in you dying. Heroes try to...
Because actually part of the reason for that is that Caleb doesn't like Broadway and he doesn't like musicals, and so the kind of instrumentation that was necessary for these 2 scenes, he would have made it more his style, which might have made it better, honestly, except that it would have been less true to the actual genre.
Yes, you're right. I know I'm not...
That lens flare was unintentional, yet it was so good.
As many things in this movie were.
No, it was all intentional except for that lens flare.
Well, our motto while filming the movie was 2 different things. The first one was, we can fix it in post.
Yep.
And the second one was, well, don't worry, it's artsy.
Yep.
We found out you cannot fix everything in post.
No, you really can't.
And that is why we had to refilm the entire movie.
That's true.
And re-record this commentary.
And re-record the commentary that you're hearing right now.
Yeah, we're not gonna talk about that. Still a little bit sore.
Robin, let me go. For
Oh my goodness. Rylan, actually, when recording this, he's saying Robin lets me go, not Robin let me go.
Yep.
And I had to, after the fact, go back and splice out the s sound at the end of let's so that it would make sense.
That was one thing we could fix in post.
I promise if I...
The counterpoint here was absolutely necessary because I remember writing in my notes, there's going to be a dramatic musical with counterpoint.
I remember it was way too hot that day to film.
Mm-hmm.
It was very warm.
And who was the one wearing the suit, Trinity?
True.
I'm coming with you.
Everybody's so sad. And then when it cuts back to my face, I'm not crying at all because I'm just into writing it.
I like that I try to hide my my choking on the tears by drinking water.
Also the fact that everyone is crying because it's such a beautiful genre, and then I'm crying because I was really happy with the cinematography.
Yep.
Of course. Are you coming too?
Someone's got to look after you.
And you've got mine. See, as we establish in these lyrics here, Robin has Alec's back.
Yep.
Because Robin says, I've got your back, and Alec says, and you've got mine. These guys, kudos to them for learning this choreography in like 15 minutes.
I had to learn this choreography in 15 minutes.
It's true.
Oh yeah. This swing dance combo here is called The Creation. It was created by Trin and Gavin.
Gavin's the Michael Jackson on the left here.
Yeah.
Looking fly as ever.
Papers all unfurled. That has to be one of the worst rhymes I have ever heard.
That really is one of the worst rhymes. I wrote that line in there because the rhyme was so bad that I felt like it needed to be acknowledged.
Also, that's my hat.
It's true.
Most of the props, most of the costumes were provided by the Klomparens because they do all sorts of plays on their own and other productions, but every once in a while there's a pair of sunglasses or there's a hat that's mine, and I'm proud of that fact.
Well, I think we didn't plan for Calvin to have that hat. You just happened to bring it that day, and we had no costume for that Hamilton scene, so...
And here comes the writer's room piano riff.
No, what if Rylan's right? What if we just need to let the movie be itself?
Like people.
Is that?
There it is.
Oh.
Of course not.
You can hear kids playing in the background of that shot, I
It's
think.
true. Is this a church? Robin once again establishing that he is somewhat aware of the genre that they're in and of the fact that it's a movie. And so he is like, is this a garage? Is this a church?
And here is
The big
shot.
It will always be referred to as the big shot.
We wrote a
Because it
song
was a
about it
very big shot and had to be filmed a few
multiple
times.
Yep.
because we wanted it all in one take. And if you know anything about filming, and you don't have a tripod, you don't have a tracker, you don't have anything to steady the cam, it can be tricky to keep it as steady as Trinity held it.
One of the hardest things about that shot too was that it went all the way around the room, like it did a 360, and we had lots of lights, like box lights and things that we were using for the lighting, so we had to figure out how to not get any of that in the shot, despite the fact that we were doing a 360.
And in the rest of this genre, we did a lot of moving around behind the scenes of all these box lights that we had. I mean, I say all these box lights. We only had 2, I believe.
Yeah.
But that can be a lot to keep out of the frame when you're switching back and forth. Because we don't have 2 cameras, right? We're using the same camera. We're going one direction, and then we go another direction.
Especially when you only have 6 people on set.
That's right. And not all of them help. Some of them hurt. No.
Some of them...
Kyler? No, I'm just kidding.
Drive around on a wheelchair.
While shooting a gun. And if you go watch the bloopers, you will see that is in this genre.
It's true.
Oh,
One of
it's
the
terrifying.
He did not want that to be released to the public. And naturally we did it anyway.
I think part of it was just to get back at him for disrupting our flow.
It's true.
Ingenious, well connected.
Well,
Of course not.
Cassandra reveals her true colors.
You were recruited because I chose you. I decided that.
We would call this the endgame genre. Because we really didn't base it off of some, really stereotype genre. You could call it a kind of Jason Bourne action movie, sort of. It's very serious, though. It's not as over the top as the others. So we would just call it the end game genre.
In this scene, what we are actually arguing about is dubstep. Caleb is arguing for dubstep being a good genre, and I'm arguing that it is washing machine music.
Comment below which you think it is.
Vast YouTube audience.
The many millions of people who I'm sure are watching this commentary.
This is what I like to call nose cam. Because of Calvin's nose.
Feeds Calvin's nose.
him working a worthless job as his rich uncle's lackey. I offered him a better position.
And there is the third insult by Cassandra. She insults each one of the people in the room.
Yep.
Just does it willingly.
Actually, she insults Kate when she comes in.
That's true.
Does she?
Spoiler
she's
alert.
like, she
Kate
won't
comes
do
in.
it.
Spoiler alert.
Hopefully you've already seen this movie, otherwise this will make no sense.
I mean, you might just be enjoying the commentary, but it probably won't make any sense.
Enjoying the sultry sound of our voices.
All that Shasta twist in our throats.
Dang, Shasta twist.
Parents created it and hid it away before they died. They left me instructions on how to find it, but Stone didn't trust me. He hid that information away.
Secret records.
Which are actually the script.
Yeah. The script is sitting back there on the table because that's the secret records that Alric left there.
Ooh, for the scene coming up, take note that Robin placed his gun on the ground earlier.
Check for that. See if it's still there.
One other interesting note about this genre when we filmed it was there was a period where we were waiting for something. I can't remember if it was recharging the batteries or if we had to, wait for some reason or another, because that happens sometimes, when you don't plan on it. And we were kind of all laying on the ground because we were tired. We had these guns scattered on the floor. And one of the church trustees walks in.
Oh, wow.
And you just gotta be thinking, what is going through this guy's head? What's wrong with these kids?
And we're all a little bit guilty because we probably shouldn't have all these guns sitting around.
And they're not
and there it is.
real.
There it is.
Yep.
Kate is holding Robin's gun. That is not... We didn't bring as many guns as we needed to bring.
We only had 2.
We didn't have more guns. I mean, we had Nerf guns, but that wouldn't have come up very
My
well.
goodness, do you remember the first time we were filming this where we had a shot where Alric and Cassandra walk into the room, like, for the first time after Alric's like, the secret records said they'd be in here, and then Robin waits a moment and then looks around and then pulls out the gun and looks like kind of evil and walks in after them, and it looks so much like Robin is the villain.
Very villainous. That hurt. That was the real sound of me hitting the wall.
Only a couple people were slightly harmed in the making of this film. One of them was me falling on a rock at the end of the fight scene when I fell down that hill. And then, of course, Trinity making a dent in the wall there.
No. For him? If you're so eager to die for Mr. Albert Fulbright, then I am more than happy to oblige.
It really looks like you got stuck with a needle here.
Yeah, it's kind of painful to watch.
Through your shirt, though.
Yeah.
Okay, well, it's still gonna hurt.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. Shirt armor? No. You gotta have skin
That does
armor.
not exist.
This shot is honestly almost identical to the original time we filmed this.
Yeah.
With kind of the looking...
It's a fun shot. Yeah.
That was where Calvin actually stabbed his hand with the needle there, because he didn't hold it correctly.
The micro-explosive is blatant product placement. Caleb's Cable logo is there on the top.
You drop your gun, or I'll blow up this building and everyone in it.
What do you want? Robin.
Tracker. No, wheelchair, right?
Wheelchair.
Wheelchair is being used for the scene. Because we couldn't get the tracker in.
Look, listen out.
Angsty.
Use all your senses. Look, listen, Alric.
Smell. Taste.
Taste and see, Albert.
That's C is the same as look, Rylan.
Die for him.
There is no difference.
There is no difference.
Isn't it funny? All my life, I've been trying to...
This is like the climax of the bromance here.
I remember one of the bloopers for the very original one was Rylan said, I can't do it. I won't do it. Give me the bomb. I'll do it.
And here we have Robin, out of all the characters in the film, actually understands Zach's core motivations as a person and as a character, whereas nobody else ever has.
Yeah.
Which I think says something about Robin as a person, and then the backstory and the history that we never actually get to see.
Wake up, Sleeping Beauty. Time's running out.
Tracker.
R.I.P. my jeans.
See, this is the scene, right, when we were filming that, and, Rylan, your shirt kept on, like, the wind kept on blowing the shirt up, and then Kyler would be like, oh, modesty, children, and then, like, have to pull it back down.
And that was for everyone else's sake. I didn't care.
That's why he's in the credits as the modesty enforcement officer.
Yeah. This is so sad, you guys.
No, that's not what I'm saying. But I'm not exactly working.
Here comes the
The
eyebrow
eyebrow
raise.
raise.
I suppose that.
There it is.
Oh.
Caleb is king of the eyebrow raise.
This is really just Caleb's eyebrow raise, featuring the writers' room.
Yeah, pretty much.
We timed that pretty well.
Yeah.
Certainly
very
wasn't
well.
the first try, but it looks good when we got it right.
I remember someone off camera saying boom, and then you guys had to react to it.
I put together this flashback basically by picking my favorite audio clips and then putting together the video from the audio clips and laying other audio clips over that and then putting flashes in there and sticking in other video without the audio. So it took a while, but the final result looked pretty cool. I think my favorite part in that flashback is when you can hear really quietly in the background, Robin towards the end says, "But where should we begin?" And then Alric says, "Where all quests start," as you see like the ocean in the background.
No, not yet. We're both still alive.
But how? The building blew up.
Calvin's hand does not look attached to his body at all.
No, it does not.
Moving independently.
He doesn't understand that they gave him like a pet arm.
The micro-explosive wasn't nearly
It's like an
as
So
animatronic
remind
pet.
you when you used to have an
powerful.
arm.
We found you, but still alive.
It's kind of like Doctor Strange's cloak.
Yeah.
That's like its own thing. That's what his arm is like.
The dose wasn't lethal. Kate woke up 2 weeks ago.
2 weeks?
Yeah.
This scene was referred to people as the bedroom scene, much to many people's consternation.
It's not what it sounds like. It's innocent. It's just bromance.
It's the most innocent thing. This music in the background actually is from the romance genre, incidentally.
It is.
Yeah. And?
Well, we're getting married.
And Robin's reaction is exactly the same as it was back in the romance genre.
Remember to rehearse your parts because we start filming in 2 weeks.
I'll email the screenplay up.
I get the music started.
I'll remember my lines.
Here.
The joke was that every single shot would have either focus shift or the tracker.
Or the tracker, because those are my two favorite things.
Bringing back the she-mance, aka the romance. Tasty last shot.
A little smile there.
Okay, and then this was actually the very beginning to the very first shot that we had for the writer's room. And no one else knew it was actually going to be in the movie except I did.
Yep, totally candid. So it's actually us talking in the beginning there.
Mm-hmm.
Is this thing on? Oh, okay, good.
And this is the exact same shot as we used at the beginning.
Klompenkegel Studios meeting conjoining on July 6th, 2016 at 3 o'clock.
July 6th, 2014 is the day that I finished the screenplay for the original writer's room.
Yeah.
Which is why July 6th. Actually, July 6th appears, I think, at another point in the movie earlier. In the murder mystery genre, he says it was July 6th, 2016 at 3 o'clock p.m.
And this song right here, I will mention, was the other song written by Sophie. And Trinity is singing the main vocals, and Caleb, the composer for the entire soundtrack, is singing the background vocals. And
So, yeah.
this song you can actually go find and buy on places like iTunes, and you can go listen to it on Spotify.
Yep. Basically, I wrote the lyrics and then I gave them to Caleb and said, "Hey, Caleb, write the rest of the music for this," and he did a phenomenal job with it.
Mm-hmm.
Another fun fact is that actually, this song, I mean, it's up to interpretation what character is singing this or what this has to do specifically with the characters in the movie. My personal favorite interpretation is that it's from the perspective of Zach Rugen, because it makes a lot of sense, yes.
Huh.
And that was the original idea, was that was going to be what the credit song was going to be.
We've got some very interesting credits going on here, such as Best Boy Electrician, which none of us really know what that's supposed to be.
We actually got most of these from Finding Nemo, except for a few of them. I don't remember which ones we didn't get from.
I mean, Property Master? What?
I knew at the time. I looked up and I was like, I think this person is who was the, script supervisor or key production assistant. But I don't remember what the roles were at all now.
There we go, we got catering.
We had real dry ice.
Oh, yeah.
Needed a safety officer.
Yep.
I just wanted to
Modesty
touch
enforcement
it.
officer.
Yep, there he is.
Go.
So, I hope you guys enjoyed listening to our commentary of the movie. And if you did, make sure to share it with all your friends and watch it more than once.
Yes.
And go watch the original movie. This has inspired me to watch it again.
Yeah.
Sometimes you don't know what to say because it's so much fun.
You don't want to talk.
Yeah.
For sure. Yes. Thank you so much for watching this and humoring our random ranting.
To be honest, we don't know if anyone's going to watch this besides us, but hey.
We'll enjoy it.
It's going to be fun for someone.
Sure.
Shout out to Joe Todd, who I'm pretty sure is going to watch this.
Oh, yeah. There we go. This is for you, Joe Todd.
That's not necessarily true. Some actors were harmed.
Not seriously harmed.
Yeah.
Just a little hurt.
So, yeah. Thanks again.
Thank you so much.